Welcome back, Realty Pros, and thank you all for joining us. We are here today, starting off our September month, and we are focusing on home buyers, expos slash seminars. And so we have today who is Mr. Porter and Curtis Price, who will be presenting to us today um, and giving us a lot of information on hosting and preparation for our home buyers expo. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it over to you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Anita. I appreciate it, and appreciate Curtis working with me today. Welcome again, Porterhouse Realty Pros, to another Realty Talk, where we're just going to talk some real estate things. And the wonderful thing is that this month's challenge is about building your client base as it relates to home buyers. And one of the most effective ways that we found to really boost your repertoire of potential home buyers is by hosting or having home buyers expos or seminars as much as you possibly can. And there's so many different ways you can do this. And Curtis is going to talk about some variations that we've done, as well as he's going to go through the steps. But I just kind of want to give you a logistical overview of some of the things you want to keep in mind prior to hosting your Home Buyers Expo. Now, I wish that we could just say Home Buyers Expo and people would show up. It kind of doesn't work like that. You really want to target a certain kind of audience. So the example that you have in front of you, you see the slide that says first time buyers. So we can target first time buyers, okay? Now that doesn't mean that people who may own a home or may even want to know if things have changed won't show up, and you certainly want to welcome them. We talked about other ideas, like you might want to do it for metro bus drivers or metro rail operators or fire department, police, or veterans. We've done it for churches. We've done it for the Census Bureau. Any kind of way that you can kind of compartmentalize people, you get a better draw because people know that it's something for them and they're going to come looking for something that's specific for them. So make sure you have something specific for them. All right. So with the first time home buyer, what is the first thing that first time home buyers are concerned about is money. Okay. So we wanted to highlight first time home buyers and no money down payment programs. And so that is the draw. You have to come up with a draw. You can't just say, we're going to have a home buyer seminar at 1400 Mercantile Lane, please show up. It just doesn't work. You really have to have a targeted market. So you want to think about, if there's something going on, like if it's, Metro's 46th anniversary, well, or 146th anniversary. Metro, you have 146 years of service. Now we want to service you for service in our community. We're going to do a free home buyer seminar for Metro operators or whatever. So you want to get a draw. Okay, that's the first thing. You have to market this thing well. You want to give it some kind of name. So sometimes, seminar might be, sheet expo, what's another word? Expose, whatever. You want to give it something that's going to draw the people for the time that it's in. And you don't necessarily want to lock yourself in. You got to kind of think about the people that you're drawing and the kind of image that you want to portray. All that being said, you have to market this in multiple fashions. So even, through your social media, you might want to do flyers. You might want to think about, where am I going to meet first-time home buyers? If it's Metro, it's kind of easy. You want to make sure you get in contact with some Metro operators, Metro managers. Everybody knows somebody from Metro. And just say, hey, could you pass the word? I'm doing a free home buyer seminar expo. If you know people, if it's the fire department, you can go down to the fire department, ask them to pass it out to different firehouses, things of that nature. And he just let them know it's free. You want to keep saying the word free because people oftentimes will think that they have to, that you're trying to get them to pay for something or that there's going to be anything. No, it's going to be free. And not only that, we're going to have giveaways, prizes, a raffle. You make it into a fun activity where people come and get information. They're going to learn something and they're going to walk away with something that they possibly are going to benefit from. Now, all of this, keep in mind, the idea for us, if you will, and then before I get to it, the idea, first of all, let me go to this. The idea is simply this. You're trying to build your lead base, okay? And I always say this to anybody who's ever hosted one, if you get one client out of the whole thing that purchases a home, it pays for itself over and over and over again. Just one person, that's all you need. Typically, we've had from anywhere, and I'm being very honest, the first time we ever did it, it was a bust. We had no clue what we were doing. And it wasn't even our home buyer seminar. We were just the people that were kind of asked to come and speak on behalf of another organization who did absolutely no marketing. And I think 2 or 3 people showed up. That didn't matter to us. We treated those 2 or 3 people like we had 200 or 300 people. And we went through the whole thing. And a lot of times you have to do that just so that you can get the practice. You make it more intimate in that kind of setting. You might change the thing, say, hey, it's just a few of us. This is great. You want to change the dynamic. So I'll be able to answer more of your questions. We'll be able to talk more candidly. We'll be able to, you'll be able to interact with the people who are coming to speak to you today. So don't be put off by the low numbers. In fact, from that 3 people, all of them purchased a home from Porterhouse and or sold a house and helped us to bring other people into to Porterhouse as buyers. So those 2 or 3 people, and one of them I think is working on her license. Am I correct, Jasmine? Or she was talking about becoming an agent at some point?
Yes, she was talking about becoming an agent.
And that was a long time ago, and these people are still familiar with Porterhouse. If they ever have any needs, they still contact us. They remember how we treated them, knowing that it was only a 2 or 3 people turnout. That's really, really important. I think Curtis had a similar situation. Go ahead, Curtis.
Yeah, we actually had I had a buyer expo that I put on at my daughter's elementary school, and I partnered up with Anastasia, and we both came in. There weren't a ton of people, which again, like Shay was just saying, it made it a lot more intimate, more personal, and we kind of tweaked some things that we were going to do if it was a larger crowd per se. But we got a lead, we signed them up as clients, and we actually helped close them on really their first home. So these expos definitely do work. And it's something that we all need to be incorporating into like our routine.
So the point I'm trying to make is it's really a good strategy to employ, all right? The other thing is that when it's done correctly, you can have a huge turnout. And so, that very first time, yes, that was the first time we did have an expo. The next time, we planned a little bit better. We marketed a whole lot more. And this is what we learned. The more people you have marketing, you give yourself a little bit of time to market, the better the turnout. So I think the next time we had like 30 people, and then I remember we moved into the space that we're currently in over on Mercantile Lane and up in Marlboro. It was so many people, it was packed, man. People were standing in the lobby. And we were trying to figure out, do we put people in the conference room? I think we had people in the conference room. I think we put people on the computers back there or something. It was packed that day. And we just put down folding chairs instead of the chairs that we had, moved the tables out the way. But it was really phenomenal to have that kind of a turnout. And it was really close, but it was a lot of people, and it was great. And we got a lot of feedback. The most important thing that you can do at the end of the seminar is follow up. It doesn't make a lot of sense to get this type of turnout to go through this wonderful information that Curtis is going to share with you that you want to go through. But then at the end of the day, to never follow up with people. And now that you have Boomtown, you have a way of following up with people. You need to put them in the system, put them in a database, and you need to make sure. What we like to do is make sure that nobody leaves without first contacting our lender, all right? So that's a whole nother logistics thing. You have to make sure that anybody who you plan to have as a presenter is on, first of all, has the time in their schedule, knows that it's important for them to be there, and then is able to send you over what materials they plan to talk about so that you can put together some slides like we're going to share. So Jasmine, if you go to the next slide for us, please. All right, so when you get there, you want to have an itinerary. You want to have something so that people have, and we like to have nice little flyers. We ask our sponsors, and we call these people who are going to present our sponsors, because here's what you got to remember, Realty Pros. As the real estate agent, you are the one that's going to help facilitate your client in finding a good lender 9 times out of 10, to finding a great title company, to finding a great inspector, finding insurance, what have you. All of those people are benefiting from you, first of all, finding the person, grooming them, getting them pre-approved, or getting them into this seminar, or what have you. So this is what we call leverage. This is an opportunity for you to ask for them to pay for the expenses of the event. All right. It might be a venue. Now we didn't have the nice learning center that we have now, but we had to pay for a venue. So we asked them to contribute for the venue, to contribute for the food. We would have an estimation of how many people we would have there, the beverages, the flyers, and all of those type of things. And then we would have them even to bring some materials to pass out, giveaways, prizes, gift cards, things that we can raffle off. They love doing it. They don't mind. They don't mind because they know the ultimate benefit. They know that they're going to have a return on investment. Okay. So when that time comes, you want to organize it in a way that you're not necessarily what I call the sage on the stage. You don't want to be the person that everybody's just paying attention to because you become monotone, kind of probably like I'm becoming right now. You want to bring other people in. That's why I keep bringing Curtis and I'm bring other people in. And so you want to be the guide to the side. You're guiding this thing, but you kind of want people to have their focus on your experts, because what you're really doing is selling the people on the process. And not only that, selling them on the people that you want to work with. Now, there are going to be some people that you might end up getting as a client and they want to work with somebody different. That's totally fine. But you want to continue to sell the people that you are used to working with and that's used to working with you, because it makes everything seamless. It makes it easier for these so many moving parts that happens in the transaction. You want to be able to manage those moving parts. And if you work with people over and over and over again, they know you, you know them, you almost can finish each other's sentences. And the only thing that all of you are trying to do is take care of your client. All right. So that being said, go ahead, Curtis.
Yeah, real quick, Shay. The other nice thing too is that you're already setting the stage and kind of getting your potential buyer comfortable with using Michael Cooper, with Velocity Title, with possibly Mr. Winbush for the home inspection, so that as you start going through the home buying process, when you mention Velocity Title, when you mention Mr. Winbush, these things, oh yeah, I remember him. He was at it makes them a lot more comfortable and kind of sets a nice ease, because they saw Mr. Winbush, they saw Michael Cooper, they saw possibly Glennis or somebody from Velocity Title. So it helps make the job a little easier for you as you go into the process of getting them the home.
And the reason why, thank you, Curtis, the reason why I really love working with buyers is that there's a lot of psychology that's going into basically taking this person by the hand, especially first-time home buyers, leading them through a process that's daunting to them, maybe fearful of. So you want to remember my few acronyms. I have a couple of them. You're all ready? You might want to write this down. One is LTB, okay? People will buy from people that they like, trust, and believe. So you're working on your likability, you working on your character in terms of, you know, presenting yourself as a trustworthy person to go through this process with. And you ultimately want to show that you understand the process so that people believe you when you say something. If you work on the LTB, you get that like, trust, and believe factor built into your presentation, not just for yourself, but for everybody who you present. They're showing themselves to be experts. That's going to help with the FABs versus the FUDs. And for those of you who've never heard me say this before, the FABs, you want to tell them about the features, advantages, and benefits of being a homeowner and help them to overcome the fears, uncertainties, and doubts. And the biggest fear is the money. And that's why I say, you don't need money. We got a money man for you. He gonna give you the money. And then Curtis will tell you some of the analogies that we go through that we like to use to make people, you know, get a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, you're gonna write some checks that you've never written before, but this is how you gotta look at the big bag of money. This is how we're gonna talk about all those things. This person is from Velocity. She knows everything about making sure your title is secured. And it's really important. This person, Mr. Winbush, he's gonna tell you everything about how that house works. He's going to check every single electric socket, but all of these things, and you are facilitating this. So you're presenting these people in a way to your crowd, to your group, to your 2 or 3 people, so that they can like, trust, and believe these people as well. All right. So the first thing you want to do when you come into your home buyer seminar is greet people. Okay. Now, there are 3 things that I learned when I used to be an educator. When people come into a new environment, there are 3 things that they always worry about. And you can remember them like this, all right? Is there anything here that's going to eat me? Meaning, is there anything that's dangerous going on? Everything looks safe. I'm good with that. Check that one off. Number 2, is there anything here to eat? People want some food. They want a snack. There's something of some type of security when people are able to eat something. They feel more secure, all right? Is there food or beverage? That's why whenever we invite people into porterhouse, there's mints, there's chocolates, there's juice, there's sodas. It's all to make people feel comfortable. And immediately, people like your office. They just like your office, because if it's clean enough for me to eat and it's nice enough for me, I'm already feeling that. And then the third thing is funny to me, and that's just, is there any mating opportunities? Does anybody in here look good? So you want to make sure that you look good, even if you're not able to. That's literally what they taught me, mating. I was like, wow. Anyway, but you want to make sure that you look good. You don't want to come in there, you know, for your home buyers expo and you look like the person that needs the help. Okay, so so all of these things feed into that LTB. All right, you want to make sure that people know that they're safe, that, you know, there's something here for them to snack on, chew on, relax, get a soda, get a beverage at your leisure, make yourself at home. We want you to hear. Then that's that likability. You're building that likability. You're building that trustability, because I'm gonna eat something in your presence. I'm trusting that it's good food. And then after a while, I'm comfortable and you're likable and you look good. And, you know, I think I can believe these people. They make a lot of sense. This is all falling in line. This is what I've heard. They're proving what they're saying by facts, data, and statistics. They're telling me stories. People love hearing stories. So we have a lot of stories built into the presentation. All right. And then at the end of the day, again, you want to remember the first thing that you want to do when they walk through the door, you greet them. They got some food and all that. Sign them in, register them. I like to use the form called JOT form. You can look it up, JOTFORM. It's a real easy and it's free way for you to make a quick registry. You just need their name, telephone number, their email address, their birthday, how did they find out about this, and who invited them. And the reason why we said who invited them, because when you come to a porterhouse home buyers expo, we want to make sure that the leads go back to you. We want to make sure that we forward you the names of the people that you invited and they showed up and say, hey, Curtis sent me. Or, who else is on here today? Let's see. Anita sent me, or Angela, whomever sent me. D, Darlene, Paula sent me. We want to make sure that you get your leads. So that's why you add those. And this is a real easy form to put together. And then you just take that link. And if you have people helping you, you got your team, or you have your accountability partner, what I call harassment partner, there, make sure that they're helping register and greet people and shaking hands, because when you touch a person's hand, they're willing to vote for you. That's why politicians do it all the time. I met him. He shook my hand. That's why I'm going to vote for him. So make sure that you're interacting with people before all of this stuff's set up. You build in time for that. And then you call the meeting to attention and you introduce yourself, and you have a wonderful, handsome, strong, muscular dude like Curtis Price come up, and you say, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Price. You like how I did that, Curtis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. So Curtis will take it, and Curtis is the guy to decide today, and he's going to walk us through the things that you want to talk about at your home buyer seminar. He's going to share with you some ideas and anecdotes that you might want to do. Go ahead, Curtis, take it away.
Yep. So really what we're doing is, setting kind of the stage. And what you really want to look at with your home expo is, in essence, you're kind of doing a buyer consultation. You just so happen to have maybe 10, 20, 30 people there, or 3 people there, but basically it's a buyer consultation. There's just more fanfare. There's other speakers. Michael Cooper's actually in the building. We have snacks and treats, giveaways, but what we're really doing is getting everything going up to the real main home buying process. And this is, I always like to have it handy. Everybody should have their home buying presentation printed out, they're looking at, and really, you're going to essentially go through
the Happy Home Hunting Packet.
Yes, there we go. And that's it. The Happy
in
Home
Broker Mint Library. Download it, print
it out. I always will say this at any training. It was a huge part of me really becoming a better realtor, was reading over the Happy Home Buying Packet. And within there is what I would like to just look at as gold is the actual home buying process. And within that process, that's kind of what now the stage is set, and you're really going to walk them through the process itself. So, you want them to find a realtor that they can trust, obviously that you're here at Porterhouse, and I am that realtor, looking to work with you. You wanted them to obtain a pre-qualification letter. That's why we introduced Michael Cooper to you. He's here ready to assist you and get you pre-approved before you even leave today. You're going to analyze your needs in a buyer consultation, but that's kind of what you're doing. You would still want to let them know, like, hey, I do want to sit down with each of you independently, and so I can really know exactly what your individual needs are going to be. This is just me informing you and kind of setting the stage as to what to expect when we go out to find your new home. We're going to analyze what you want. We're going to really look at the actual affordability of the type of home that you can afford. Then we're going to set up your property search. That's kind of when you can let them know, like, hey, you're going to be flooded, with homes. You could have 50 homes, you could have 60 homes, depending on the net that we've cast. But what we want you to do is whittle those homes down to 10. And then if it's a couple or if there's multiple people buying, you can then let them know that now after those 10, you guys can fight it over and whittle that down to your top 3. And once you have those top 3, send them over to me and we're going to go shopping. We'll set up an actual showing time. We'll go out. we'll look at the properties. And then once we find that one that you get the warm and fuzzies and your spidey senses are tingling, we're going to write the offer. I'm going to beat feet back to the office, and we're going to get the offer written and submitted on your behalf so that we can get under contract for your new home. So you're kind of just segueing through the actual, literally the home buying process at the event. At that point, you're going to then let them know that once our offer is accepted, because I've written an amazing offer for you guys, there's two things that we're going to need. And this is where you're going to start to write the checks. This is where the big money is going to start coming. We're going to need 2 checks from you. Oh, yeah. So we're going to need 2 checks from you. Your earnest money deposit, which typically is about 1% of the purchase price of the home that we're offering. And then we're going to need the second check, which is our Porterhouse admin fee. And that is going to be a check for $795. Once we have those checks, which is time sensitive, so I am going to need the checks right away. We'll have those deposited for you in our escrow account. And after that, we're going to immediately set up our inspection, hopefully with the one and only Mr. Winbush, who spoke earlier or is going to speak. But, you're letting them know that now we're going to have your home inspected. Once all the home inspection, everything comes back, if there's anything that jumps out, we're going to let the seller know that they need to either make repairs or possibly credit us some money so that, once you get the home, that you can, we got some money saved for you and you can apply that to make those various repairs. Once the home inspection contingencies are kind of lifted, we're moving right along. And at this point, you're going to need to have a big red folder that you're going to keep all of your receipts, all of your bank statements, because unfortunately, they're going to keep harassing you for this same information. So when your lender is saying, hey, I need your W-2 again, you can be like, oh, I remember Curtis told me they were going to keep asking me for the same information. The good thing about that is that as they keep asking you for the same information, just know that you're getting closer and closer to having the keys in your hand of your new house. So at this point, you will be working a lot more directly with Michael Cooper or the lender that you'll be of your choice as they're getting you prepared to get the big check that they're providing you for the closing. At this point, we always recommend to all of our clients, please do not make any purchases that you don't do normally. If you happen to have to make a purchase, life happens, car broke down, the dog had to go to the vet, it is extremely important that you immediately disclose that to Michael Cooper, to your lender, so that he or she can make the adjustments to let the underwriter know what is actually happening. The underwriter is that final person that is really looking, we like to refer to them as the undertaker. They want to kill the loan. Their job is to find something wrong with this file and kick it out. So if all of a sudden there's a charge for a vet bill, they didn't take that into consideration, they could potentially kill the loan. But if you disclose that up front, your lender can kind of pivot and make the changes and let them know, okay, well, this is why this charge happened. It's something that didn't, it's not a normal thing, but it was an emergency. If you don't, it can be very detrimental to you getting the keys. Once you have the keys to your new house, you can go out and buy your new car. You can buy all the furniture you want because you've made it through and you have the property secured. You will also be working a lot more with the title company. They'll be in touch with you. That's where we have Velocity Title. here with us. They're phenomenal title company located right off of 301. They're going to make sure that you will take full possession of the property, that the deed and title is going to transfer from the previous owner solely over to you, that there isn't a uncle or an aunt in the middle of South Dakota somewhere that is going to come out of nowhere and be like, I should have had the opportunity to buy the home. That was my great grandmother's home. They're going to make sure that everything's going to be clean, that the title and deed is going to be clean and it's going to convey, and you are going to be the new sole owner of the property. Once all of those things have happened, essentially we're going to have a final walkthrough. At that point, I'll meet you at the property, and it's just to make sure that the ceiling didn't fall in, that the refrigerator is still there. Nobody decided to take the refrigerator out the night before closing. So we typically will do a final walkthrough with you at the day of settlement, or sometimes the day before, just depending on schedule, but nothing further out than that. We like to kind of keep it very close to when you're actually going to go to closing. At closing, it is extremely important within this period of scope of time, your lender will let you know specific instructions with wiring funds to the closing table. Unfortunately, there's a lot of fraud that's going on in the world, even more so with technology and things that are out there. I don't know how certain criminals get hold or catch wind of, these wires basically about to happen. But once you send the wire, there ain't no coming back. So you want to make sure that you have specific, clear instructions coming specifically from your lender where you need to send said funds. Once all of that is taken care of, we're actually at the closing table. You're going to sign off and you're going to have the new keys to your house. We're going to take pictures and all of that fun stuff. And then we're going to look at actually having a housewarming party for you on our behalf. So that, somewhat in a nutshell, is the home buying process. So within that, at the expo, that is kind of the meat and potatoes per se of really walking them through, prepping them. All these folks are here, basically validating, kind of what you're talking about, and now we need to sign them up and get them shopping.
Thank you, Curtis. And so everything that Curtis is saying, this is what you're guiding this process through. This home buyer center, you need to know what the steps are so you know who's next and who's next when you bring it up your presenters. It's really important. Curtis just walked us through the buyer's consultation, but that's pretty much what you want to have in mind at the home buyer seminar. If you can go back to slide number 3, Jasmine, for a second. Whoever's doing the slides. Hello, can we go back to slide number 3? The reasons to buy. Yeah. All right. So one of the things Curtis said, as we're going to bring it, I'm gonna give you an example of how we would do this. So say, for instance, you introduce everybody, you tell them what's going to happen. Curtis, you say, listen, this is one important thing. You want to start out by asking these questions. Why do people want to buy homes? And if you got a crowd of 30 or 40 people, you want to kind of let that go for a little while. All right. The answer, of course, in any of the situations is always the quality of life. Many people now say this is a great way to attain wealth, etc. But it's essentially the quality of life. But what I like to hit on, depending on the group I have, and especially if I'm having first-time home buyers, is I want to beat them up as renters. I do. I want to make them feel so bad, like, you know, I don't know if this renting thing is for me anymore. I really need to get a mortgage. All right. So I'm going to talk to them about the first thing you want to do is realize that anytime anybody wants to buy a home, it's to change the quality of their life. Either they want to, you know, get a bigger house because they're planning on a bigger family, or, you know, maybe they hit the lottery. You know, they got that new show, the Lottery Winners House Buying, or whatever it's called. You know, or they're a tycoon now. They need a multi 70,000, 740,000 square foot house for whatever reason. Who knows? Or they just want to downsize. They tired of walking up and down them steps. They're getting older. The kids that moved out. They want to put some money. They want to buy a boat. They want to do all kinds of. They want to travel the world like Curtis, buy land in foreign countries. All of those things. They all are talking about a quality of life change, right? But say, you know, but here's a couple of other things I want to share with you. And if you look at the bullets, they're kind of lumped together. The tax deductibility of the mortgage interest and the property taxes. I love to talk about the tax deductibility portion. Here's what most of the people that I find that rent already know. They love tax time. You know, they're going to get a check back at tax time. So when you start talking about tax deductibility of mortgage interest and the property taxes, they can relate. They, in their mind, they see a big, pretty check coming in April. And you'll say, well, how much of your rent do you actually get back at tax time? None of it. Well, if you had a mortgage, did you know? For about the first 15 years of your mortgage, about 80% of it is tax deductible, which means if you don't owe any money to Uncle Sam and he's going to give you a refund, that you essentially get to write off about 80% of your mortgage. And people was like, no, I didn't know that. How do you do that? You say, well, you need to talk to your accountant about that. But this is essentially what happens. And I like to use $1,000 because I kind of know the math now because I've done it so many times. But I want to make it simple. I said, let's pretend that your rent is $1,000. And let's pretend that you have a mortgage that's about the same amount. Did you guys know that essentially what you're paying for rent, you probably could have a mortgage on the property? And some of you are actually paying the entire mortgage on properties that you don't own for your landlord. I said, it's my favorite radio station. I use all these little corny anecdotes, PMM-FM. You know what that stands for? And you let the crowd guess. And it stands for Pay My Mortgage for Me. And that's what you're doing every month that you're renting. But with the tax deductibility of the mortgages and the mortgages, property taxes, you'll be able to write off 80%. So that means about at the end of the year, you didn't pay $12,000. You take 80% of that. That's about $9,600 that you're going to get back at tax time. Wow. Well, what could you do with that? So you need to know these bullet points. You need to be able to talk to people because believe that they already like you. Now they're going into the trust and believe you. They're going to look and see if you can actually do some of these things, and you actually can. There's ways to do it. It doesn't work in every scenario, but that's not what I'm selling. I'm selling that it can happen. It's a possibility. All right. And so I'm telling them about some of the features, advantages, and benefits of owning a home to eliminate the fears, uncertainties, and doubts of where am I going to get all this money from? That's what they're worried about. So then I go through, did you also know that there's an appreciation potential that property tends to appreciate over time, whereas everything else that you can own, personal assets, tend to depreciate? And you want to invest in the stock market, you see what's happening to that. You know, you want to use leverage of anything that's happening that they can relate to say, hey, you need me. I'm the best friend that you never had, that you need to have. You need to keep me in your pocket. You're going to get a good idea one day. Something's going to happen and you're going to need to remember my face, remember my name, have my card, and be able to call me. But I'm going to even make it easy for you. I'm going to stay in contact with you until that day comes. In fact, I want to be your realtor and I want to be all of your friends' realtors for life. I want you to brag about me. All of these things are playing in the back of my mind as I'm talking. I want to tell them stuff that nobody else is telling them. Because if they ever try to go to another real estate company and the realtors there are not trained by Curtis, they don't know these things. They don't know. They're not learning this stuff. And if they do, they just checking it off and moving on. There's a deferred gain and capital gains treatment. How many people are married? Raise your hand. Oh my goodness. You all need to get married. Look around, see if there's somebody in here. See, I throw that mating thing in there, you know. Hey, you need to get married. Here's why. You know, you want to have fun with it, but you got to know your material. You got to know your scripts. You got to know your material before you jump out there. All right. Well, the deferred capital gains means that if you're single and your house appreciates in and above the price that you paid for it, up to $250,000, you get to keep that $250,000 tax-free. Uncle Sam doesn't want a penny of it. And then if you're married, you get to keep up to $500,000 tax-free. Now you see somebody in here that looks more attractive. There you go. You might want to talk to them after this is over. You just create that thing, right? The other thing that you're doing when you talk about the tax deductibility of mortgage interest insurance is giving them that $9,600 and saying, what could you do with that money? You're telling them, you're helping them figure out, how am I going to make these monthly payments? Because that's what their fear is. How am I going to make these monthly payments? Well, you got a check back for $9,600. What if you just put that in an account and let the account just draw every month and pay that $1,000? You wouldn't even make a payment for 9 months. You're recycling your money. Then in the 10th month, you add $400 to it, you pay another $1,000, and do it all again in the next year. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I never heard of these things. Well, it's just ways that you can do it. You can set it up, you can make it happen. Did your landlord let you make half payments every month? No. We got to pay everything on the 1st. It's due by the 5th. After the 5th, you get a penalty. Wow, that's terrible. You know, mortgage companies actually let you pay all the way up to the 15th before they give you a penalty. And a lot of them are very nice. If you can't pay, you just call them and they'll put your payment on the back end of the loan. And some of them will let you do that once a year. I didn't know that. And some of them will even let you pay half payments twice a month. So you can pay $500 on the 1st and $500 on the 15th, or $500 on the 7th and $500 on the 28th. They don't care as long as they get their $1,000. And did you know by doing that, you take a 30-year mortgage down to 23 years? Wow, I didn't know any of those things. This is crazy. This is mind-blowing. You've already obliterated their whole, they want to know you. Now you just added value to yourself as a real estate agent. All of those people in that audience want to know you, or they want to question you. Or they want to find out, how did you find out all this stuff? Or they might even want to become a real estate agent. Either way, you can help. Pride in your home, no landlord, and here's the real cost of renting. If you continue to rent and your rent wasn't $1,000, let's say if it was only $700, the 6% cost of living increase over a 10-year period, you didn't pay $110,000. You didn't pay for a house, or a condo or something, just in 10 years. How long have you all been renting? Heads go down. Everybody's like, geez. They start to do the math. They want to get out. Now they're looking for an exit. Let me take you to my money man, Mike Cooper. Mike Cooper is going to come up and he's going to tell you how he's going to help you get your money. And then you want to sell your lender. You know, I call Mike Cooper the money man, and you know what Mike Cooper is going to give you? He's going to give you this thing called, I call it a golden ticket. It's just a piece of paper, right? But it tells you that he's going to give you 93% of the value of a house that you want to purchase. So what does that mean? That means you have to come up with the rest, all right? You might have to come up with, let's say I give you a call and I say, hey, Mike Cooper just approved you for $400,000. You'll be like, okay, and what does that mean? All right, let me put it to you in terms that you can understand. Forget $400,000. Mike Cooper just called me. He said, Porter, I'm on my way to your office. I got $380,000 cash. When your client shows up with the other $20,000, give it to them so they can go buy a house. What time are you going to be at my office? Totally different mindset now. That's called mindset. You have to get them in the right mindset. Whoa, hold on. He just dropped off 380,000 cash. See, people don't recognize that piece of paper. They don't understand that that paper is power. That's a lot of money that they're going to get. And I say you get a whole lot of something for a little bit of nothing. What time are you going to be in my office? 90% of the people say in 20 minutes. I said, what are you going to get $20,000 for? Well, I'll figure it out. Exactly. So this is all mindset training. Then Mike Cooper comes up and he razzles and dazzles on what he does. And then now we make the assumption that they're buying a home. All of this is being done well. Reason Buy Home. If you do this part well, then at that point, you're just making an assumption. Let me introduce you to the people that's going to help us through the process. And then you go through what Curtis just told you. And then you bring up the next person. And then once you get that, you need an inspection. Let me tell you who's going to inspect your home. Come on up, Mr. Wimbush. Tell them why you need a home inspection. And then you're going to need to get this title and insurance. Tell them what title and insurance is, because nobody ever tells them. And then you're going to need a home warranty. Come on up and tell them what home warranty is, because nobody ever tells them this home warranty lady. And then you're going to need an ADT system. Come on up and tell them why they need a security system with cameras, bells, and whistles in their house. Now, anybody who's ready to sign up? Everybody's ready to sign up. Great. Go meet Mike Cooper. Let's get you a golden ticket so we can go shopping tomorrow. That's how you do it well. Those people that didn't sign up, I got your information. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to continue to stay in contact with you, and whenever you're ready, I'm ready. That's called the drip. You put them on the campaign. You could put them in Boomtown. You make sure you follow up with them in constant contact. You call them on their birthday. Call them on their anniversary. You go visit their kids at the bar mitzvah. You do whatever you got to do. But you stay in contact with the people. You make those people your sphere of influence. You call and check on them when the dog is sick. That's how you build your client base. You go through your A's through your Z's. You send out a text message once a year. I'm updating my contacts. It's almost like giving them a way to opt out too, but they opt back in every year. That's how a home buyer seminar, home buyers expo is effective. You have to sell this page right here. And then once you sell this well, once you get them to understand why they need to get out of rent and into a home, or they need to buy a house or an investment property, like Curtis can talk about his beliefs, all these things. This man is on his way to building wealth. This is what you need to do. Curtis, do you own a home? Yes. Now you have nothing else to do. You own a home. He knows, he changed the garage around, painted everything, took the floors out, put the kitchens in. He's been living there. He's enjoying it. I don't know what else to do. I got some money coming in. Let's go buy some property in a foreign country so we can have somewhere to fly to and relax. This is what I'm talking about. This is very exciting for me. And this is what we want you to do. You want to build the excitement before, during, and after your home buyers seminar. And you want to stay engaged with the clients. Questions and answers, because I'm 3 minutes over time. Jasmine just sent me the signal. We'll continue next time. That's what Jasmine said. And I meant to say 96.5, but I get caught up in the numbers. 96.5, that's what they're gonna give. But 93, it felt better because even though it was incorrect, it felt better because they was willing to still pay more money. They got over their fear of money.
I have a question.
Yes, Paula, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, shoot.
Have you ever done a virtual seminar?
Yes.
Wonderful.
It was horrible.
It was horrible.
It was
What
okay.
made it horrible?
It was okay. You don't get the energy. You don't get the energy, the synergy. People seeing other people in the room and feeling that energy is almost like you build that, they call it FOMO, fear of missing out. People want to say, yeah, I know, yeah, I'm gonna call you. Everybody wants to call you. You're the lady after that. I mean, everybody wants to. You were going up there trying to shake everybody else's hand. It's all of those touches. We call them touches in sales. So you were going up trying to shake everybody else's hand. Now they're all coming trying to get your attention at the end. You're not going to leave the home buyer seminar after it's over. Everybody's going to want to talk to you, and that's a good thing.
Okay.
So I prefer the touchy-feely. I get a better response. I get a better feel for people. They get a better feel for me. They remember me. They'll see you out at a restaurant. That's my realtor. If they see you on the Zoom, you know, because Paula, you look different all the time too. You know, I know it from somewhere. You know, it's different. It's just different.
I just want to know if you know, what your opinion of
I mean, I'll do it if I
virtual
have to.
versus Zoom. But yeah, I just want to know what your opinion.
I'll do it if I have to, but hey.
You could use the in-person home buying expo to set up a one-on-one Zoom if you had to. You know, so this way you saw them, you met them, you're talking to them, and then to kind of do another follow-up consultation if they needed to, you know, if they weren't able to meet in the office or what have you. But then it would be even more intimate than trying to put on host a whole expo on Zoom.
Okay.
Question for you, was that last fall or the fall before last when we did a whole brokerage-wide one? Because it was highly effective. The Zoom one, we had about 40-something participants to come on. And Shay is right, so you don't get the same energy from having people in the office, if you will, but it was highly effective because we have a number of closed transactions from it. So be encouraged, Paula, you can do it.
Thanks.
Any other questions, comments?
Mr. Porter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have just my comment is the same one I always give. I would tell anyone that they really need to experience you doing, and I know when you're doing the seminar, you're doing it on a larger scale, but just seeing you do a buyer's seminar, the intimate one in the office, and to see all the information that you give and to see how the people respond, it's just amazing. And I think Curtis can say the same thing. We both still do things that we heard you say when we saw you do our first one, and it's just words and phrases and just the body language and all the different things that you do. It's just amazing. And people, and I saw people pulling out their checkbook and writing stuff, and they didn't even have any idea what they were doing really, but they just knew they needed to do it, okay? Because you told them to do it, and they did it. And it was just shocking to me because I'm thinking, these people are going to say, we got to think about it. They're going to say, well, you know, that's a lot of money, and none of that. It was just, okay, now here you go. Do this, do that, and they did it. So that's what I found so amazing. So I would tell anyone, you got to experience it or see it on YouTube or something, because it's a whole different ball game when you see it done right. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Cameron. Again, the excitement comes from the features, advantages, and benefits of a mortgage. You got to believe in it yourself. It's not gonna translate well. And you also have to be conscious that before you start, and we talked about this in a meeting yesterday, that people are going to, I'm waiting for people to shoot me down, so to speak. I'm waiting for somebody to, well, you know, we need to think about it, you know, and I'm saying, you know, where interest rates are climbing. Doesn't hurt to find out how much you pre-approved for now. Or if you can be pre-approved, then we know what to work on. I would hate for you to be ready or need to move, and then we didn't do the preparation work that we needed to do now to have you at the place where you want to be or need to be in the future. So how about we just see where you are right now? And then if you decide to move forward, we can. And if not, at least you know. Doesn't hurt, right? You know, I'm making the expectation. I'm a salesperson. That's what it says on my license. I don't know what it says on yours, but that's what it says on mine. I'm going to make the expectation that the people want the house, is provided that I get over their fears, uncertainties, and doubts. I'm expecting the fears, uncertainties, and doubts. I'm looking for them. I'm talking about them before they say them. I'm reading their mind. It's not that I'm really reading their mind. It's just that I would be afraid of all of this money and big checks, and I've never done anything like that. This is crazy. I thought it was virtually impossible to become a homeowner when I was renting. I said, them people got big money. Where they get it from? They borrowed it. It's fascinating to me that people will go to college for 4 years, take out a big old loan for a piece of paper that doesn't guarantee them that they're going to get a job. That's going to be one of my new things. I'm going to work that into the mortgage somehow. Anyway, thanks, Kerma. Any other questions or comments or concerns? I know Jasmine has something she wanted to share too. But anybody else before we turn it over to our broker? All right. You guys are good. All hearts and minds are clear. I mean, I'm done. Curtis, I want to thank you. Curtis is, you know, he's my go-to guy. I'm just gonna be honest with you. When he first came into real estate, he was at every meeting, every meeting. He was at more meetings than I was. Okay, I remember he came to a training and he was the only person that was there. And I looked around and said, and I had to leave. And Curtis sat there and went through training with Jasmine as if they had a full room, and just to see where he's come from, never doing real estate, you know, training with us, working with us, you know, being the top agent for a couple of years running, and now he's buying properties in foreign countries. I'm just, and he knows his stuff. And he can teach this stuff. So, and he does. He's our leader. He's our leader for Porterhouse when it comes to all things buyers. So, kudos to you, and kudos to all of you guys. I mean, you guys are really rocking and rolling. Some of us, we need to get up and get jostled, get off our duffs and get out there and make things happen. Shake some trees, do some home buyer seminars, make your mistakes, have your little teeny crowds, and you and your grandmama and your auntie and your cousin show up. Just pretend like you got a whole room full of people, go through it, be nervous, make your mistakes, stumble and bumble. We believe in failing fast. We're going to fail fast, get back up and do it again. We ain't worried about the failure.
I have to say, when I was in Belize, right, I was at this, it's called King Louis, this island, and we're part of the group that were looking at the development, and the boat going out there was like really choppy. Like Aaron, actually, he couldn't even sit up because of the waves, the way the waves were hitting. But we were out there and talking, and we're on this boat, and all of a sudden I hear this guy who was like, yeah, you know, I'm thinking about buying you know, property. And I was like, oh, where at? He was like, Maryland. I was like, well, I'm a realtor. So we're literally out there on this choppy boat. And when we got there, you know, I had been kind of talking to him anyway, but I took his, you know, we took a selfie together, text. We're literally out there in the middle of the ocean on this little island, texted him, got his information. I found the property for him in Salisbury that he was looking for. He lives in Tampa, but he was stationed here years ago and loved Maryland and looking at possibly buying this 6-acre home that they eventually want to just level and then build whatever they want to build. But, you know, I followed up with them right away when I got back and waiting on them to get their financing secure. And whenever he's ready, you know, hopefully I can orchestrate and be the realtor. But it was just crazy because I'm like on this boat and then I'm on an island getting his information in the middle of nowhere. But I love it. You know, I mean, if I didn't open my mouth and be like, hey, I'm a realtor, like, where you at? What you need? I don't know. Nothing could have happened, you know?
And Curtis, you know, that's look, I'm always ready. So the one thing I want to encourage us all to do now is say, hey, would you check my website out for me, by the way, and send them that link for Boomtown. And once they start searching around, bam, we got them. Okay. But listen, we are way over time, Curtis. This was great. So guys, we know we want to respect your time and honor your time. I think Jasmine has something she want to say so we can close out. You can stop the recording. We thank you guys. And I know some people might have to log off. That's okay.